of Oakland Bay Junior High School. I'd like to welcome you to our third and final community forum of August. I would also like you to know that we will continue to have community forums at least once a month when school is in session. We believe that this is not only a good opportunity for us to be able to share with you the great things that are happening at Oakland Bay Junior High School. Apologies, a little bit of technical difficulty there. We believe that this is not only a good opportunity for us to be able to share with you the great things happening at the Bay, but also to hear your questions and provide you with the best and most up-to-date information we have. As Timberwolves, we follow the 3 R's. We are respectful, resilient, and responsible. For a moment, I would like to focus on resilience. During our last community forum, we had an issue with our YouTube chat that we thought we had resolved. Although some viewers were able to submit comments, some were not. This was not intentional. We believe we fixed the issue for this community forum, and we will answer as many questions to the best of our ability during the next hour. As always, do not hesitate to contact me with your questions. You can also reach Rachel Chorazi, our assistant principal, and myself through email, and you can call us at Oakland Bay at 360-426-7991. If we are not available, you can leave a message in our voicemail and we will return your call as soon as possible. We also want to share with you that this community forum is also being simulcast in Spanish. So those families who wish to listen to the audio in Spanish are able to do so. Feel free to enter your questions in either English or Spanish. As with most new things, we expect that it will go well, but we know there may be issues, as we just experienced a minute ago. As resilient Timberwolves, we will learn from our mistakes and continue our path forward. With the exception of this introduction, the remainder of this forum will be translated by one of our amazing Timberwolf teachers, Michael Burlett. In order to allow him to be able to translate into Spanish what you are hearing in English, you will notice a bit of a delay. We are extremely proud to have an amazing team of educators that think outside the box to problem solve, and Mr. Burlett is but one of the many Timberwolves who is dedicated to solving problems at times taking risks, such as technical issues that may disrupt communications. We are resilient, we are Timberwolves, and we march on. We have some announcements before we begin. This year, we will have a virtual open house at Oakland Bay Junior High School. You will be able to virtually visit our school, meet our amazing teachers, counselors, and administrators. It is our goal to have the link running by Monday, August 31st, and we will send that link to you via Skyward. If you have not yet updated your contact information in Skyward, please do so, as we want to be able to send you the link so you can meet the amazing people that'll be supporting your Timberwolves reach their highest potential. If you're having difficulties accessing that, please contact us and we will go ahead and send you the information that you will need to be able to access family access in Skyward. You will be able to access your schedules in K-12 or Skyward by Monday. Please be sure to check your schedules by Tuesday evening for any possible minor changes. So for this evening, we'd like to start off with something that everybody's been curious about, and that is, okay, what is the day going to look like in Stage A? So we've been working really hard. We've been in collaboration with some of our schools to see what they've been doing, and we believe that it might be, we believe that we've come up with the best possible solution as far as providing blocks of time for our students to be able to engage in their core 4 classes. So allow me to show you, I'm going to project it onto my screen real quick, and that is going to be the 2 schedules that we will be running. I do want to let you know that I am here currently by myself, so if there's a little bit of a delay, I apologize. Well, let me correct that. I'm here with Miss Marianne Marshall, who is an amazing executive director, and she's here to help as well. And Miss Tarazi, who is having some technical issues on her own as well. So we've got it cleared up. And as we just mentioned, you know what? We are resilient and we're going to keep moving forward, folks. So here we go. All right, I'm going to share the screen now, and then I got to find the two schedules. And here we go. Okay, fantastic. So if you look on your screen, what you're going to see is, well, you're going to see something I need to make bigger. Okay, I think we're good here. Okay, so what you're going to see is two bell schedules. Now, let me remind everybody that these two bell schedules are only for when we are in stage A. For the regular day, the start time of 7:55 a.m. and the end time of 2:30 will stay the same. That is not going to change. But as far as what it's going to look like from start to end, that would go back to our traditional 6-period day that we've been using for a few years. We will get that out to you guys as we get closer to transitioning to stage B, which is our hybrid model, which we're hoping will happen much sooner than later. So if you take a look at the regular schedule, our our Timberwolves are going to start with their AM advisory. So we're going to start the day every day for 25 minutes with their advisor. From there, they're going to have a 15-minute break from 8:20 to 8:35. Now that's, again, for them to be able to go to the restroom, grab some water, stretch, whatever they need to do to get prepared for the first class. Each of the 4 classes will last 65 minutes. The first block will start at 8:35 a.m. and end at 9:40 a.m. Then we're going to have another 15-minute break. The idea here of adding these frequent breaks is because we know that, well, I mean, we know as adults that sitting by a computer without being able to get up is something that perhaps is not the best of things. But for kids, it's even more important that they're able to get up more frequently and be able to move around and be able to exercise, to grab water, whatever they need to do to get them away from that computer screen, to get them away from that chair for certain amounts of times throughout the day. Our second period is going to start at 9:55 and it'll go to 11 a.m. The students have a 30-minute lunch, but if you see here, the time says from 11 a.m. to 11:35 a.m. So that 5 minutes. The reason why we went ahead and added that 5 minutes is because during our normal 6-period day when our kids are at school, there is some transition time between the end of lunch into the next class. We believe, again, that we don't want people rushed. So we want to make sure that our students, our paras, our teachers, and everyone who is supporting students under this schedule has their 30 minutes to eat their lunch, to relax, to unwind, and to be able to regroup before we start our third block, our third period. Our third period will begin at 11:35 a.m. and it'll end at 12:40 p.m. Again, we want another 15-minute break. And I want to reiterate the fact that the idea for these breaks is because we know that it's important for kids to be able to stand up, get up, walk around, grab some water, feed the dog, whatever the case may be. But we know that movement and disengagement from a screen is something that we want to make sure they are able to do on a frequent basis throughout the school day. Finally, you're going to have fourth period that's going to run from 12:55 to 2 p.m. They're going to have one more break, but this is a short one because they're going to have a 10-minute break because the last part of their day is going to be their PM advisory. And the idea with the PM advisory is that we want to make sure that their advisor sees them at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. Today, as part of our T-Wolf Day, our faculty was presented with the master plan for how we want advisory to work and what our goals are for advisory, both in the AM and PM. We will be incorporating different things such as health and well-being. Our PE teachers are working very hard and we're producing videos and activities for our kids to be able to use during one specific advisory per week to help them be able to stay active, stay healthy, and also be able to relax and be able to not feel so constrained. The other purpose of the PM advisory is we want to make sure that students have an opportunity to be able to interact, to have some social time that they would have otherwise during the school day. We strongly believe that education isn't just about the academics, it's about the whole child. And one of the things that we took into account as we created these schedules was ensuring that our students not only had the academic supports that they would need, but also the social emotional supports that they would need, and the resource of having that one contact adult, that one person that they'll see at the beginning, at the end of the day. And we're very hopeful that this will make what is not an ideal situation much more manageable. Another thing that I would like to let you know is that we do have a PLC day schedule. During stage A, we will be running this schedule on Fridays. Once we return to the hybrid model and back to the every kid back at school 100% model, we will be following the PLC day schedule that the calendar has. But while we are in stage A, 100% virtual learning, we believe a key part to educating our students is allowing our teachers to have the time to further collaborate and to share experiences and to better support the program and the ideas that help us best deliver this information and this content to your Timberwolves. So for that reason, you will notice that we do not have advisory on Fridays. We have 4 blocks, but they are 60 minutes long. There is a 15-minute break between first and second period. There is a 30-minute lunch, but again, we included an extra 5 minutes because we want people to have, we want our students, we want our faculty, we want our parents, we want everybody to have that 30 minutes to eat, to relax, to regroup for the rest of the day. Third period is 60 minutes. There is a 15-minute break between third and fourth, and then fourth period ends at 1 p.m. So that's what we're going to be using on Fridays. But again, when we return to the hybrid model or to the full calendar model, which is every kid is at school every day, and we hope that that day comes sooner than later, we're going to be using the PLC days that are on the calendar. So I'm going to stop right here and just let you know a few things. With the regular day schedule, like I said, from 7:55 a.m. starting to 2:30 p.m. ending will not change at all. It's going to be that way during stage A, stage B, and stage C. We do want to let you know that we might have to make a few small changes here, but if those changes occur, they will occur within the next 2 days, and we will get that information to you. The reason being is we want to make sure that our schedule and our hours are matching up with what our computer system, our K-12 system, is using for Class Connect. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and stop and see if we have any questions in the live chat. And then, as I said before, we do have translations in Spanish. So I'll take a few seconds to pause and let our translator get caught up. And then I will read the question that I am seeing on the YouTube live chat. So the question we have on YouTube live chat is PLC every Friday or every other Friday? So thank you for the question. If you take a look at our school calendar, the one that's available to you on the Shelton School District, you will see that there are clearly marked PLC days and there are clearly marked early release days. What we are saying is that while we are in stage A, while our students are learning at home 100% of the time, it is imperative that our teachers and our paras and our entire team be able to collaborate and to continue to have collaborations so that we can fine tune and perfect the model and the technology and the curriculum that we're using to educate your Timberwolf. To do that, what we are doing is we are allowing the teachers to have a 90-minute block of time during every Friday during stage A so that they can use that time to further work on, develop, fine tune. And again, as you've seen in this presentation, as you saw in the last one, there are going to be hiccups. We are resilient. We do march on. We do learn from our mistakes, but we need to give our teachers the time to be able to fully collaborate, be able to identify the things that need to be improved and make them better so that overall your Timberwolf is getting the best possible education that we have during the virtual learning model. Okay, at this time, I'm not seeing any questions up on YouTube chat, but because someone did submit a question, I'm assuming it's working. If for some reason we're having the same issue as last time, please just email me, Mario Juves, principal of Oakland Bay Junior High School. It is not intentional. I will answer your questions, but I'm hoping that the issue here has been resolved. Ms. Tarazi, how are we doing?
We are doing good this evening, sir. How are you?
I am doing well. I will tell you now that we started with some technical issues again. And you had some technical issues too because you were having a hard time logging in.
I did. I apologize, but you know, I like how we problem solve and we just have a can-do attitude.
Mm-hmm. And you know, I was telling them because we're new to the Bay, but you know, we are respectful, responsible, and resilient Timberwolves. And I was communicating to our families and our Timberwolves that this is an example of being resilient. It's you plan, you do the best you can. There are hiccups, but we learn from them.
This is so true. I wonder if the page we see is the schedule. Would you like to keep it on that, or is there
I'm sorry, say it again.
the page that we see is the
Mm-hmm.
schedule?
Right. Should we stop sharing that? Is what you're saying?
I think so.
Well, we have some questions coming
Oh,
in,
good.
and they're kind of related to the school schedule. So I'd like to leave it up for a
Yeah,
moment
sounds good.
while we address those. So we have another question coming in that says, talk about what happens on the first day of school, September 2nd. Are student logs on to Google Classroom? Question mark. So let me go ahead and let's talk about that a little bit. So right now we know that there are some people who still have not gotten their login IDs, and we are working to resolve that. I can tell you right now that we have a really good system for that. One of the things that's been happening is people have been emailing me or emailing Jenny Lingle, who is our office manager, with two main issues. Number one being the fact that someone received a login, but someone else didn't receive a login. And then the other one that we've noticed that we got a lot of questions about was that people have not received their logins at all. So one of the things I've been trying to do is communicate back to people as quickly as possible. Let me say this to everybody. One of the things that we're finding out is that some people are not getting their logins because the login is going to the spam or to the junk folder. Now, that's not everybody, and it's probably not even the majority. The majority probably is the fact that they just have not been sent logins. But there are some people that that's the issue with. I would say this: if you could check that folder and just double check to make sure that it didn't go there, because it could be that yours did. But like I said before, that's not the majority of the problems. So here's what we're doing. The issues that we're finding is that when the information was sent to K-12, and this is my understanding, and if anybody who's with us today, perhaps if I'm incorrect, jump in. But my understanding is that the information was taken from the information we have in Skyward, and then batch delivered to K-12, which then used that information to send it out to the families. So what we've discovered is the fact that there are some people who perhaps the email address was incorrect, or there was a missing email address. So they're not getting the information. So here's what we've learned. What we've learned, Mr. Razi, and to our Timberwolves, is the fact that we have to make sure that if that's the case, number one, we need you to update your Skyward information. And again, we can provide you that information. I believe there is a link to Skyward on the district website. Matter of fact, I know there is. And there's information on there as to what to do if you forgot your password or login information, or if you need to open one up brand new. But the other thing we have to do, Mr. Razi, is we have to actually get those people into the K-12 system ourselves, because we're not going to be doing it. We're going to be now, for those situations, we're going to make sure that we're entering that information. So understand that we have quite a few of these, and we are working as quickly as we can. You will have that sent out to you. That being said, we do have certain contingency plans regarding what to do if we get to a point where there's still issues on Wednesday. So that's the reason why some people haven't gotten it yet, and that's how we're doing what we're doing to solve it. So we got a lot of comments and questions coming in. I'm going to try and roll through them. Mr. Razi, do you have the YouTube up so that you can maybe help me a bit? Okay.
I do. It's
so I'm going to leave this page up just for a bit and just see if we still have questions about the schedule. So the next one I have is, when will I receive the email for K-12 to set up my child's account? Okay, so Please know that Ms. Tarazi, Mr. Burlett, he's doing our translation. So one of the things I said is I'm going to go ahead and slow down a bit to let him get caught up. He's also helping us out by, I believe, providing us questions that are being told to him by the families. So for Mr. Burlett and any other family member who wants to know when I will receive the email for setup, those have been going out. Those are already being received. If you have not received it, it is most likely the situation that I mentioned before, the issue with the Skyward. So if that has not happened, contact Oakland Bay Junior High School. If you already have, then we're already in the process of taking your information and getting that updated. If you received a message from me letting you know that I forwarded that information, I should have given you a contact me back day. If that has not been fixed, please contact me via email on the day that I indicated in the email. Okay, I also have not received the email from K-12. So again, we're having a lot of people who have not received those emails. Again, for those of you joining us a little bit late, what we're finding is the fact that there's two things. I'm going to tell you the first one, but the vast majority of people, this is probably not the solution. But for some of you, it will be. So some of the emails in some of the email accounts are going to the junk or spam folder. And again, majority of people, that's not the issue. But I would ask that you check your email accounts and check the junk and spam folder, because for some of you, that will be the solution. But for the rest of you, what we mentioned earlier again was the fact that we use the Skyward information to send to K-12, and that's how they use the emailing and emailed everybody. What we've learned is there are some email addresses that were not correct, or they're old email addresses, or some accounts that did not have emails that we could send information to. So there's two things we're asking. Number one, please check to make sure that your Skyward information is correct. There is a link on the school website that will take you to the Skyward Family Access, and there's instructions there on what to do if you forgot your login or your password, or to start a new account. The other thing we're going to ask you to do is to let us know so that we can go ahead and take that information, because what we're going to need to do more than likely is upload it ourselves into the system. As you can imagine, and we're doing this on a school by school basis. So as you can imagine, this is going to take some time. We're working as fast as we can to do this. But again, some of you have emailed me about this already. I have emailed back to you letting you know that if you have not received anything by a certain date, to email me back. Please do that, because that tells me then that I need to get on it and make sure that we have everything correct on our end, because you have not yet received a solution to your problem. Mr. Tarazi, could you help me out here with some of the other ones, please?
I sure can. There's a question about how kids are going to get their schedule in paper, or will they get their schedule in paper?
Okay, that's a great question. So the way the way the students are getting their schedules is they can go on to Skyward, and they'll be able to see they can see their schedule on Skyward, or they can go on to K-12 and see it there. Now, I do want to say one thing, and please know that we are still working on the final schedules. There are a few glitches or a few things that we are trying to finish up. As I mentioned before, one of the things about that we believe in is resilience. We are going to keep working hard. We're going to learn from issues that aren't going right. But please do understand that currently there are some glitches, there are some mistakes. So if you open your schedule and you see, why is my 7th grader in an 8th grade or a high school class that we weren't expecting? Please know that that is not their final schedule. That is us basically trying to problem solve so that we can have everything correct for the first day of school. If you have not yet gotten your login information or able to access K-12, please know that once you do, it will be there as well. But in the meantime, you do have Skyward. And again, if you see the schedule and it doesn't look like it's supposed to, please know that we are still fine tuning. We've been fine tuning. We're still fine tuning now, even up to about an hour ago, where we ended up fixing an issue that we had to deal with. What are some of our other questions?
So our Mr. Bartlett had a parent ask him about when they'll know their child's advisory teacher.
Okay, their child's advisory teacher. Good. So for that one, the way we're doing that is it's going to be in the schedule. I'll tell you right now that again, this is something that we are all problem solving. What we're trying to do right now is make sure that we can build it into the system to where it understands our language and that it knows that we have an AM advisory and PM advisory the same person. I will tell you right now that it may show up as the word homeroom. Please do know that homeroom means advisory. I'm not fully sure if we were able to make it sync up to where it has an AM and PM or not, but do know that the schedule I'm giving you now, the one that's projected here on YouTube, is the one that we're using. So the advisors will be populated, again, once we're able to do that. And part of doing that is fixing some issues that need to be fixed with the technology, but more importantly, with the logistics of it. So we're on it. We're going to need a little bit more time. Okay. I see a question. It says, can you address why teachers unions are concerned about defunding the police when they can't be teaching our school kids in the classroom? So I do not speak for the teachers unions, and I will tell you right now that I am not at the district level. So I do not have anything to comment on that. What I can tell you though is I can answer any questions you have about how Oakland Bay is running our academics, our socio-emotional, what things we have to offer, anything that you're having issues with that we can resolve at the school level. So questions like that I would direct to the district. I don't have the link, and I send an email to Mario J, and that's me, and I still don't have access to K-12. So okay, so this is from Ms. Reyes. So Ms. Reyes, I don't know if you're one of the emails I was able to reply back to, or if you're on my list that I still need to reply back to. I have a pretty big list and I will get through them. So if I've replied to you, I should have included a date to email me back if you still haven't heard anything. If not, would you do me a favor and email me and let me know that you haven't heard back from me. And then what I'll do then is I'll reply back to you and I'll CC Jenny Lingle, who's our office manager. That way she knows right then and there to put you on that list that we need to send out right away to get it resolved. Okay. We have one that says, are parents going to get half of the teachers' salaries considering we're teaching our kids half of the time? So again, I can talk to you about Oakland Bay Junior High School. For questions like that, I would direct you to the district office. There are plenty of people there who could discuss those issues with you. But in my capacity, I'm here to solve problems with our logins, any concerns you have about the academics, any concerns you may have or questions you may have about advisory. How are we not just addressing the academic needs of our Timberwolves, but also the whole child? I'm happy to address all of those and anything in that area. But with your questions, I want to thank you for submitting it, but I would direct you to the district office for that one. Are parents going to, okay. Are free online tutoring services going to be available for our children? Okay, that's a good question. So let me tell you what we are looking at. There are a lot of different options being looked at right now, both at the school, but also the district level. I will speak for Oakland Bay Junior High School, but in this statement, I will speak for the district. We know the realities of what's going on, and it's not just our district; it's the entire country, and in some places, other nations. We know that the situation we're in right now is a difficult one, and I can tell you right now that both at Oakland Bay Junior High and at the district office, we are thinking outside the box. There have been conversations. People are looking at possibly offering tutoring at off hours or hours outside the school day. There was a recent interview in which Dr. Apostle and our amazing curriculum director, Kelly Neely, spoke to that. There are a lot of things on the table. As far as what the district is planning, I will direct you to them and let them fully develop that and explain that. But I will tell you here that I can tell you that every single teacher that I work with and that I serve is committed to supporting your student in every way possible. And you know what? Some of them, you're going to be surprised that they're going to probably be working with your kids sometimes after the school day ends, because that's just who we have as teachers. We have people who they're not a start and stop. They're educators. Now, I'm not going to say that they're going to be there at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, but they're educators, and they know our kids, they know our Timberwolves, and they really are committed to them. And I can tell you right now, I'm new to the school, but I can tell you right now that it was very quick learning for myself. I'll let Ms. Tarazi speak for herself. But for myself, I learned very quickly who these people are and who they care about. Right now, we're working hard. They're working hard, but they know that the best thing for our kids is for them to be with us at school, learning with their friends, with their teachers. Second only to being with you and their families. Ms. Tarazi, did you want to say something?
I can't wait to, when the pandemic is at a place where we can bring them back to school safely. I'm looking forward to that day. So until that happens, we're going to take care of them as best as we can.
And Ms. Tarazi, I'm going to take a quick personal moment. I'm going to say this, that today we had our T-Wolf Day where our teachers did their preparations for the school year. And I unfortunately, I know that we try really hard to get to every single one of those training sessions. There were 2 that I missed. You know what? I got to tell you, I'm willing to bet you that what I would have seen in those is what I saw in every other one. People who are thinking outside the box. Our EL teachers. Mario, here's our idea. Here's what we want to do. Here's the idea. Here's the plan. And then I'm like, okay, we can do this one. Let's strategize for this one. Wow, I didn't think about that. That's actually really cool. That was basically in every single session I went to. So I can tell you right now that I know that this is not the ideal situation for anybody in this country. And I'm going to go ahead and just share something personal with you. I told my teachers this, and you know this, Ms. Shirazi, but in 2005, I was a teacher in Louisiana when Hurricane Katrina and Rita hit. So I know what it's like to have a situation where school is not in the most optimal situation. Now, this is different, but it still is the same thing in the fact that our kids have been disrupted. And I know that every single person I work with, from the custodian to you and I, to our teachers, our counselors, is aware of that. And their heart and their passion is in ensuring that we do the best we can. And you know who else is doing that? Our district office. Because you know what? We have 2 of our people here, Miss Marshall and Miss Neely. Every time that I email or call, they respond or they get back to me. And sometimes we got some really out of the box ideas. And you know what? They still listen. They'll work with us. But you know what? They're there. And they're all working hard too. And we're doing the best we can. And you know what? We're going to keep working even better. But we're looking for the day when your kids are back with us, because second only to your home and to your families, we know this is the place where they belong. Let's see, we have
here in Spanish. Do you have access to?
I do. So I actually figured it out this time. So you weren't here earlier. My technology was, shall we say, kind of bouncy. But, you know, like I told the teachers today, right? I said, look, you know what? Watch me on some of these community forums, or watch me on the meeting a few days ago where I apparently didn't realize that the camera was on. And I'm sitting here making, you know, trying to talk on the phone. And anyway, but you know what? We're going to make these glitches. But yes, I fixed it. And guess what? We're getting all these community comments, which means we fixed that issue that I thought that we fixed, but that we really didn't fix. But hey, that's okay. The question in Spanish is the following. I'm going to read it in Spanish and then I'm going to read it in English. ¿Hasta cuándo vamos a tener que preguntarle a los maestros de nuestros hijos algunas preguntas que queremos saber? So the way I'm interpreting this is until when. So this is my literal understanding of it. So maybe the intent was different, and maybe Mr. Burlett could clarify if that's the case. But the way I'm understanding that is essentially until when are we going to have to be able to ask questions of the teachers that hold on. Mr. Burlett, please type in if I'm incorrectly interpreting this. Now, I read it completely, so I'm going to add my cultural understanding. When will we have the opportunity to ask the teacher questions of our teachers? Ask our students, ask our kids' teachers questions that we want to know about. So let me go ahead and say this. We talked about this at the beginning. We're going to have a virtual open house. So that's going to be the first opportunity for you to get to meet our teachers. And again, that link is going to go out on Monday, fingers crossed. If you have not updated your Skyward information, please do that, because that's what we're using to send out the information. But to the point of talking with your teachers, well, I'll tell you this, every day your teachers will be working with your kids in their computers at home. That's one good opportunity. We would encourage you to join your kid, to join your Timberwolf, and actually get to meet the teacher, get to meet the advisor. And again, as I said before, we're going to be learning as we go as well. So I'm sure that they would love to have you and be able to share with you how they are teaching, and you know, at the same time, understand that they're also learning how to navigate the programming as well. So one of the things that we told our teachers is, look, hey, good practice is to get to know your kids the first couple of days, right? And I said, you know what? Show them that sometimes it's okay to make mistakes. You know what? You may not know how to push that button or click that link or whatever, but you know what? You learn and you grow from it. So that's one way you could talk with your teachers. But let's say that, you know what? I don't have time. That's not a good window of time for me. Then I would suggest this. I would suggest that you email the teachers or the advisor, and you let them know that you would like to meet with them, you'd like to talk with them, and what would be a preferable way for them to communicate with you. And I know that every teacher that we work with is more than willing to talk with parents and more than willing to engage with parents. So those are two options I would give. Okay, let me see. Okay, so that's a comment, a response to somebody, so I won't read that. Are we going to have something like an open house? Yes, we are. And at the beginning, and I know some people couldn't join right away, so let me just say it again. At the beginning, I let you guys know that our amazing Timberwolf faculty and staff, led by our amazing counseling department, has created a virtual open house. We are hoping to have that live, fingers crossed, on Monday, August 31st. And what we're going to do is we're going to send you the link through email. So if you haven't yet, please update your Skyward information with your email, because that's what we're going to use to send out the link to the virtual open house. You'll be able to virtually walk into the school. There's videos from myself and Ms. Tarazi. You'll be able to get videos from the counselors. The teachers are putting up videos. And honestly, I'll tell you a little surprise. I suggest we put a blooper section in, because you know, we're making little mistakes here and there, and it's important that we want our kids to know that mistakes in any normal circumstance, mistakes are going to happen as part of the learning process. But in this time that we're in with the technology and the distance learning, things might not go as planned, and that's okay, and we'll learn from it and we'll move forward. So I made the suggestion of a blooper section. I don't know if they're going to use it or not, but I will tell you now, Mr. Razi, yeah, it's some funny stuff. It's some funny, at least with me, it's funny stuff. That's all I'll say. Okay, let's go on. Can you help me, Miss Tarazi?
Yeah, so we actually have one of our new 7th graders, Teresa, and she would like to know how can she find out what her teachers are?
Okay, great question. So for your schedule, and again, hey, first of all, let me, before I even get to that, first of all, welcome to the Bay. Welcome to the Bay. You're going to find that we are an amazing community. Ms. Tarazi and I are new to the school, but let me tell you, we are very much at home. So let me talk to you a little bit about that. So there are going to be 2 ways you can see your schedule. The first one is through Skyward. If you go into Skyward, you're going to find your schedule there. The other way is in your K-12 login, in the K-12 page. You'll be able to access your schedule there. In fact, you'll be using that to click into classes and click out of classes. But here's the thing, you probably already know this, but we're still working on getting some of those links out. So don't worry if you haven't gotten it. You'll still be able to see your schedule. You can go to Skyward. And if you don't have a Skyward connection, don't worry about that either. If you go to the district webpage, look for the little icons, and you'll see one that deals with family access in Skyward. And it'll tell you real quick what you need to do to get your login and password if you have one and forgot it, or how to go ahead and get a new account if you don't have one. And hey, let me tell you something else. If none of that works and you forget what I said, remember my name, Mr. Juves. You call the school, you email me, you'll get what you need. Okay. And by the way, welcome to the Bay. It's gonna be fun. We have one in Spanish, so let me try reading it real quick in Spanish, and then just like before, I might need a minute to. There's the literal wording, and then there's the, so we call it this syntactic and pragmatic. So I have to like read it literal, like the literal wording, and then put it into the actual context. So it says, pues el único que me habló fue el maestro Burle, pero de los otros maestros yo no conozco. Mi hija es el primer año que va a ir a la escuela. Okay, so what I'm reading here is that she's heard, the only teacher she's heard from is Mr. Burle, which I'm assuming is short for Mr. Burlette, but not from the hold on, pero de los otros maestros yo no conozco. So, but the other teachers I don't know. I haven't met them yet. And this is my daughter's first year going to the school. So thank you. I'm going to say, well, Mr. Burlette will translate. So thank you for the question. So first of all, I'm really glad that Maestro Burle, you've been in touch with him. We're also, besides being a great teacher, he's also phenomenal at technology. He and I actually met about this idea of simulcasting. I'm sure probably one of the feedbacks he will give me is you need to slow down just a wee bit more for my translations. But he also is a Spanish speaker. Yo también hablo español. Most of our teachers, actually, I'd say a lot of them want to learn how to speak Spanish, but not a lot of them do. And right now, because of the fact that we cannot have people come to our school, we've had to think creatively of how do we get our teachers connected to our parents. Excuse me. One of the ways we've done that is through the open virtual house. But if you're saying, hey, I don't want to just meet my teacher, I want to talk with my teacher, like with Maestro Burle, we get that, and they get that too. So I'd like to suggest that once you know who your teachers, who your students' teachers are, that you contact them. We can get you the email addresses, and you can just call the school. And call the school, say, hey, I would love to hear from these teachers, and we'll get a hold of them, and they'll get back to you. They want to meet you. They want to meet our kids. If we had a magic wand, I think everyone would just be like, let's open the doors, let's get the kids back in. We got learning to do, we got people to meet, we got growth to make. So please know that the fact that it has become a bit more challenging to meet teachers isn't stopping us from making that happen. Evidence of that is the fact that we're here 3 times this month doing open community forums, and we're going to be here every month at least once while school's in session. This is a good way for us to be able to connect with you and to hear your questions. And as you can see, we're going to answer them as best we can. Our teachers are the same way. Please know that they are dying to meet their students. They are craving for the day whenever they can have them back in class. Please understand that the difficulty in making connections is something that we are working around and trying to find solutions for. And I hope that you will allow us the time to be able to create those different paths for you to be able to meet your teachers. But in the meantime, on August 31st, you'll receive that link to our virtual open house. And although you won't be able to talk to them, you will be able to learn about them. And so will your Timberwolf. Okay, what else do we got?
So we have a comment. Schools in Grant County are providing in-class, online, or a mixture. I don't understand why we can't.
So that's a great question. So I will say this. I'm not going to speak to what the district office would want to talk about, but I will say this is my understanding of things. I know that a lot of the guidance that schools have to follow and school districts to follow comes from the health department and from other agencies. Now that is about the extent of what I can comment on. I will tell you this though. I can tell you honestly, and this is from my experience, I've been in meetings. There's not a single person that I've talked to at that district office who doesn't want to open those doors tomorrow. Not a single principal who doesn't want to open those doors tomorrow. it is hard for us not only to be away from our kids, but it's also hard for us to be away from our community. As you can see right now, I'm in my home. I would much rather be in my office broadcasting. Matter of fact, that's not true. I would much rather be at the school with people there and then also broadcasting so that people who couldn't come can have access to this forum. And let me tell you, that's what we're going to be working on once we can. But for your specific question as to Grant County and the Shelton School District, I do have to direct you to the district office for that one. That's not something that I am fully versed in. I can just tell you how we feel, how I know they feel in their hearts about our kids and our community, and what we really want to happen and what we're doing to ensure that happens sooner than later. Okay. I don't see any other questions popping up, but I'm worried that my screen might have frozen. Do you see anything?
I think we are caught up.
You don't think that we're having that same issue from last time where it's now glitchy, is it? Okay, so I'm just going to say this, that if people are making comments now and it's not showing up, please know that we have not disabled anything. Everything's working fine from our end. So if you have questions that are not popping up, please send them to us. We will answer them. In the meantime, we will keep monitoring to see if questions or comments pop up in our in this forum. So we've got about 14 minutes, Ms. Tarazi. I do have to tell you some things that are going on.
Okay, can't wait.
So we've been talking a lot about the open, the virtual open house. So I think you know by now how amazing our team is, and how amazing everybody is at working together, right? You know that?
Oh yeah, yep.
So I gotta tell you that you're gonna see a lot of Bitmojis. And first of all, for all of our kids out there, yes, I know what a Bitmoji is now. Thank you to Miss Adams who taught me. For parents out there who are like, what's a Bitmoji? Don't worry, I didn't know what it was either. It's pretty cool. It's a kind of a more, I don't know, how do we describe it? It's like an emoji, but alive, I guess is the way I can say it. Yeah. So anyways, in the tester for the virtual open house, we saw Miss Tarazi's Bitmoji, and hers was awesome. So fun fact is I don't really like fashion or anything like that. So I'm not gonna that's not my thing, right? So Miss Adams is like, well, Mr. Juves, why don't you go ahead and change your Bitmoji to this, and that? So I'm like, okay. So I went to the application and I'm like, okay, I see shirts. Which one should I get? It's like, well, which one do you think is cool? Which one do you think you want to wear? It's like, I don't know. Someone pick something for me here. So I am horrible at that stuff. So
I could have helped you.
You could have, but I'll tell you right now, it was a little bit sad. It's a little bit sad because I'm just like, people are like, well, just make the colors match. I'm like, okay, I missed that class in school. So, it's going to be interesting. So I'm going to pick something, and my emoji is going to be my Bitmoji is going to be the best possible Bitmoji dress that I can come up with without anybody helping me.
Okay.
So stay tuned.
I can't wait to see it.
Okay, it says test. It looks good, so it looks like it is working. Okay, so thank you for those of you who sent that out. We appreciate that. I will tell you right now that speaking of clothing and picking clothing up and picking clothing out, we still have those locker clothings and things that people left. And I just want you to know that we have it there for you. Please do know that what we're asking you to do is if you had stuff in your lockers and you didn't pick them up when school let out, because, well, let's find out, oh yeah, it was a drop of a hat that we closed school. Hey, we've got it for you. We are definitely taking care of it for you. But what we're asking is contact our amazing office staff and they will set up an appointment time for you to pick it up. Okay. So please know that we have it. It's been taken care of. I can't guarantee that it's been, ironed and pressed and washed and all that, but it's been taken care of. Actually, I think they're going to make me do that eventually. If I tell some cheesy dad jokes sometimes, and I think some people are going to make me have to do stuff like that as penance. But that's just. But for right now, we have it. They're in bags. Call us. We'll get it to you. And you know what? It might be clothes that you wore when you took your yearbook picture. And speaking of yearbooks, Did you know that we still have some that weren't picked up either? See how did that transition?
Yeah, that was nice. So smooth right there.
Yeah, like it's all hit. Um, so we still have the yearbooks. If you haven't picked them up, same thing, please make an appointment and we will get that to you. And then I have to say that again, the school year did close rather quickly. It had to happen. We get that, but there are people who did not get a chance to buy yearbooks. We want you to know that we do have extras. We want to make sure that you're able to access those. So just if you're interested, contact us. We'll make arrangements to get that to you. Okay.
We have somebody appreciating our hard work. Thank
Well,
you for going live is what they say.
Well, we thank you, but I got to tell you, I appreciate all the people with their questions and their concerns, because the reason why we do this is we try to do a little humor here and there. Mr. Razi and I learned very quickly that we're humorous, or more accurately, I think I'm humorous, and she keeps reminding me I'm not, but that's okay. But the other thing is the fact that this is the way that we get to find out what it is that you don't know that we need to find out for you. What are the concerns and issues that you have that we need to get solutions for? Which is the reason why when we did this, I wanted to do it 3 times this month. I said 3 because of the fact that each week, as things are changing, we're able to get information out to you. And then more importantly, you're able through your questions and your comments, get information to us. So we're going to continue this moving forward. Every month I'll be pushing the on button, but more people with greater creativity will be supporting. But we'll be doing one of these once a month. And the goal is this, eventually because it will happen, when we're back, literally everyone back at school, we're going to keep doing this. I think once a month at the very least. But the cool thing, and I'm just the kind of person that thinks like positive. I really do. And I think what we're learning right now is that we are learning ways to reach people that maybe perhaps we had never really seen before. So I'm going to tell you right now, with Mr. Burlett, with all the other teachers I've been talking with who are like, hey, let's do this. Hey, have you thought about Minecraft communities in which people can Minecraft in? Because fun fact, the kids are doing that. They actually have Minecraft concerts. As recently as a few weeks ago, there was a DJ called Marshmallow who had a performance on Minecraft. So, okay, let's take a look at that. It looks great. You can actually tour the Louvre. You can go tour like the Louvre. You can tour ancient Rome. It's like really cool.
This has definitely broadened our horizons and opened up a whole new world of, like you said, that maybe we didn't think about before, and now we were almost forced into it. And it's like, okay, now what? Floodgates are open. What can we do? We have Lisa, who's new to the Shelton School District and excited about K-12 and
nice
to meet everybody. So that's pretty cool.
And who is it again? What's the name?
It's from Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. I'm Mr. Juves. That's Miss Tarazi. She's the smart one. I'm the funny one. That's what we got.
Let's see. So Lisa's also saying that a good quality curriculum and consistency in curriculum and expectations is so needed right now. Some like those conversations we're having with teachers when we've been meeting, and
right. Right.
Thank you, Lisa.
And Mr. Ozzy, I'm going to share with you right now. One of the things, I mean, our teachers, it's not easy for them either right now. It really isn't, because of the fact, not just from the emotional part, because of the fact they're not with their kids, right? And the fact that we're working together because of the technology, but nothing really can fully replace that face-to-face conversation. And there are people who have not seen each other, like actually physically seen each other since March, who work at the Bay. And on top of that, we have some teacher, every single teacher is really, really dedicated to giving all of our kids the best education possible. So, the idea of having a technology glitch or having something not work out the right way with technology, or not, something not working out correctly, is something that is worrisome to them. And it's worrisome to all of us, right? But the thing about it is this, what we've been telling them is that, you know what? We are resilient, we're respectful, we're responsible, and we're resilient. When our kids learn through trial and error sometimes. Sometimes you have to get the problem wrong to get to the right answer. And part of learning is making those mistakes, right? And you know what? If you're on the platform or anything else, or you turn the TV on, the TV doesn't turn on, you know what? That's fine. That's fine, because guess what? That provides an opportunity to think outside the box. And sometimes, you know what? Something happens that doesn't work out technologically because we made a mistake, right? But we are trying to let them know that, you know what? It's going to happen. It always is going to happen. I mean, our community forum has been perfect. There have been no technical issues whatsoever, none at all.
Yes.
But things are going to happen, and our kids are going to get to see, you know what, adults, wow, they're not perfect. Wow, they learn things too. Wow, I actually got to teach my teacher how to use the XY function or whatever on the K-12. How cool was that? But you know what they're not going to have technical issues with? Making those connections with their students, letting them know that they care, getting to know who they are, and being there for them. And again, we look forward to the day when we're actually physically there. But in the meantime, they're going to be there for them. I'm sorry, they're going to be there for them virtually, but they're going to be there for them.
So I have 2 comments.
Sure.
The first one is we're very thankful to all the dedicated teachers and staff of all Shelton schools. Thank you so much. So it's nice, that positive feedback. We'll take that. And another, I feel like there should be a way the kids get emotional support, like counselors, because with these limitations, some are not doing so well, and make it easy for them. So how could we make it easy for them to get some help?
Right. So I just got an idea, and I think Miss Adams might be really mad at me, but I'm not saying we're going to do this, but I have an idea here. I'm wondering if maybe in September moving forward, maybe we like invite some of our Timberwolves to join us. And maybe not for the whole time, right? Maybe they can't join us in video, but maybe they can like call in on the phone or something. But that might be another good way for our community members and our families to get to meet, some of our teachers and some of our support people, right? Like our counselors. But to that point of the question, and we only have a few minutes left, but let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what we talked with our teachers about today. So I'll start off, and maybe you can kind of share some of the other things. So one of the things that we did with our teachers today is our counselors, and not just our counselors, like a team of teachers have been working together. Ms. Tarazi's been really part of those meetings. But let me just tell you, today when we did our training, which was 4 hours, 4 hours. But what we did was we want to ensure that the bulk of it was with our teachers being able to work with each other and getting trained on the types of things that they could be using in the classroom to support your kids. But in the beginning part, Miss Adams basically walked us through advisory, right? And I will tell you, like the idea of one day being about, health and well-being, physical fitness, health and well-being, about one day being dedicated to mindfulness. And it just really amazed me how much people are in tune to those needs that our kids have, because you are correct. There are social emotional needs that kids get served when they are at school. And that goes to the effect that goes to the point that our team is thinking outside the box. It's not just K-12, and it's not just math, science, social studies, and English language arts. It is those things that I just mentioned. Mr. Razi, we only have a few minutes, so I'm going to be quiet because I know you know a little bit more about this. If you want to chime in something or not. Maybe I covered it.
Yeah, no, you covered it. I'm just smiling because we have our wonderful counselor who commented. She said she loved that idea. So
let's get her on FaceTime right now. I'm kidding, Miss Adams. I would not do that to you. Actually, I would, but I won't today. One thing I would like to mention, though, that I remember that was brought up in the presentation that really amazed me was because we've been talking about this idea that there are natural, like, developmental things that kids do that they're missing out on. Like you and I have been talking about that. And then that team just was like, you know what? Those afternoon sessions, those check-in times, some of those really need to be for kids to actually, in a safe space, be able to be kids. Like, be able to be kids. And the fact that we as educators acknowledge the fact that that's part of our duty in this time, that it's just instantaneous. Kids got to be kids.
Yes.
That I mean, it literally made me really happy. It brought me great joy. And that's the people that that's the community that your Timberwolves are a part of. And I got to tell you, I'll speak for myself. I'm pretty sure I speak for Mr. Razi, but it's a blessing for me to be serving this community. And I hope that I can be half as effective as they are in doing their job to support each other and our kids.
I'm looking forward to a wonderful year. Yeah, we just.
So let's close with this, because I'm not seeing any questions. Let me just remind you that my name is Mr. Mario Juves. I am the principal. You can contact me via email. You can also contact me at the school phone number. If I'm not available, they will transfer you to my voicemail. I will return your call as soon as possible. When I reply back to people and I say, hey, if this has not been resolved by X date, let me know, email me back, please do. And then if you're out there, you're like, well, I emailed him a day ago and I haven't heard back. I really try to get those emails back to you within 24 hours. I will be honest with you. I have a significant amount of emails and every one of them deserves my attention. I am trying to get them as quickly as possible, but please do know that if you are emailing me because of issues regarding your K-12 login, what I will be doing is before I email you, I'm getting the information to our office manager who is acting on it right away, identifying whether the issue is that we haven't sent it, therefore we need to put your information to K-12, or if there's another issue that's preventing you from getting that information. And it says that in Skyward, Eric Barkman is the principal. Well, I will tell you this, that is my predecessor. And although he is currently not the actual physical principal, Mr. Barkman is an amazing guy, someone who I learned a lot from. So in some ways, Mr. Barkman is the principal, as well as other people who have inspired me and been my mentors. They're also principals. But I appreciate that. As you can tell, there's still some things we got to clean up. There's some things that we got to fix. I appreciate that. And please keep letting us know. We're doing the best we can, but if we're missing stuff, let us know. We appreciate that because that shows us that you're trying to help us become better, just as we try to support your kids in becoming their highest potential, their best potential, the best they can be. Mr. Razi, we're at 6:02. And I think we have to now go to our subcommittee meetings. So I will say good evening. It's been a pleasure. This is not the last time. We will see you in September. We will have notice for when that will happen. And Mr. Burlett and I and others will collaborate on better ways to be able to communicate in Spanish and other languages. Mr. Burlett, I will say this in Spanish real quick. Gracias por favor, muchas gracias por participar. Disculpen si cuando hablando en inglés no le di suficiente tiempo al señor Burlett traducir, pero prometo que en el próximo foro arreglaré eso. Aprecio muchísimo su participación, sus preguntas y sobre todo su apoyo en estos momentos. Queremos que sepan que nosotros también queremos apoyarlos en cualquier cosa que podamos. Buenas noches. Good night.
Good night.